This is the Reimagine Richmond Podcast, imagining our power to transform our visions. We know the system is broken, but we are not. We keep each other safe. In this series, community members will share their stories of safety and how they reimagine Richmond.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. My name is Carmen, La Superpoderosa, Community Organizer with Reimagine Richmond.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yemi. I'm a lead organizer with Reimagine Richmond. And today we have a special episode. It's called Reimagining Unhoused in Richmond. Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest issues happening in our city. We understand that it cannot be covered in 30 minutes that we have today, but lucky for us, we have two individuals here who are going to be able to kind of give us more information on unhoused issues by their lived experiences and working closely to the unhoused community. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Fernandez with Safe Organized Spaces.
And I'm Jenkins with Operation Ground Zero.
So tell us about yourselves. Who are you? How long you guys lived in Richmond? And what neighborhood you guys live in? And what you guys do?
I'm originally from Hawaii. Been out in California or in the Richmond area for 8 years, since 2015. Unhoused for about 5 of those years. I'm now director of programs for SOS, as well as a health ambassador for Lifelong and care manager for Collaborating. I do a lot of outreach work throughout all the encampments throughout Richmond.
I'm Amanda, and I am a CEO of a nonprofit. We're a mobile outreach, and I basically do the same things. I just basically support them doing the same things they do. I used to work for SOS before, and now I just kind of do my own thing, volunteer, and trying to get paid to do it soon. No. But I basically do the same thing. I take food and hygiene and clothes to encampments and help people, get the resources and connect them to people that can help them get housed or to SOS or whatever. Support the showers if I can, support whatever I can with them.
So O'Neill, you mentioned SOS. Can you tell us a little bit more about what SOS does and who they are?
So we're an encampment service nonprofit. We do a number of things. We're not just an encampment. We're a neighborhood service. We do showers throughout. I believe it's 8 locations throughout Richmond. We have a mobile streets team that picks up trash throughout encampments, as well as illegal dumping through the neighborhoods. We hire local stewards that work directly out of the encampment they live at or the area they live at. 90% of our employees are from the unhoused community, whether still in the situation or in their transition out. So we do a lot of outreach. We also do medical outreach through Lifelong, getting people into urgent care and other things like that. And we're hopefully do this all around the Bay instead of just in Richmond.
Definitely. No, you guys have been doing great work, so thank you. And Amanda, can you share a little bit more about Operation Ground Zero?
For right now, Operation Ground Zero advocates more than we do anything else. We advocate for the homeless, so I'm on things like this, doing interviews. I'm on meetings with the county, the city, equity committees, and Reimagine Richmond Task Force, and all the different ways that I could, support the unhoused as far as advocacy goes and speaking up for them. But we also support everything that SOS does pretty much too, if we can. And pretty much we just do it from our lived experience, We just, whatever we think that people need outside, When it's cold outside and raining, we bring jackets and tarps and tents and, stuff like that.
Thank you.
So you guys both touched a little bit upon this, but in regards to the safety and the well-being, what is the biggest issue facing unhoused residents, and what needs can be met for the unhoused to feel safe and healthy?
Housing. That's what they need, housing. More housing in Richmond. There's plenty of money, and there's plenty of places that they can put people. They just have to want to do it, period. That's it. and safety and well-being, that housing. That's what they need, housing. Or more people like us, that know what they need, and rather than people that are looking down on them or, being mean to them or bullying them, pretty much. What you think, Odeo?
So, with SOS, it's in our name, safe. We need to create structured encampments, and I'm not saying they need to be sanctioned. They need to be, the city has to say yes to it. We just need to create, places where people can use the restroom to get drinking water. Yep. Prevent the theft of me having, a unhoused person having to jump into someone's yard to take their water hose or hit that fire hydrant. They use the bathroom in our creeks. There's a lot of things, that are unsafe within that community. But, I think we need to create more ways to keep them safe when they're living in those conditions.
For sure.
Yeah, so you guys mentioned a lot of things in regards to safety. So we wanted to ask, what role do you think that the police play in public safety, in the public safety system, if any?
In our unhoused public safety system, we police our own encampments, pretty much. We govern our own self. They don't come around. They would rather not come around. And if they do, it's just to bulldoze us or be negative. It's not really a positive interaction usually, But, the police are not very helpful.
Yeah, I think that it's not that the police are not a part of it at all. It's just how they are a part of it. It's not a positive. There's not enough direction in them. They're there with a badge and gun and handcuffs instead of with a relationship.
Or training.
Having working with different cities and seeing what one city is doing to the next city, and seeing the different training and opportunities that's been given at different places. Like San Pablo has a team for outreach, has a team for this. Now they can go out and send the person that's identified with that type of training to help them, and also getting, and I think Amanda said, at least she said earlier, having people like us a part of that training. We have that know-how, we have that relationship, so why not use those resources?
So we did touch upon the police right now, so now we want to pose a question as to, do you guys feel or think that sometimes unhoused residents are criminalized? If so, how?
Absolutely. First thing that comes to my mind is illegal dumping. We have our mobile streets team, and we have our neighbor care line, and neighbor care line neighbors neighbors from the house community are able to call us about responding to a dump site, to whatever it may be, of a trash pile. And a lot of times when we respond to these encampments, the first thing the neighbors are saying is, the homeless people have created this, the homeless people, which is not true. I'm not saying every piece of trash didn't come from that encampment, but majority that's from your house neighborhood. So we're getting a lot of responses to, the first thing they say is, let's call the cops because they did this. That's, in a lot of cases it's nowhere near the truth. And being out there, I can now see that, talking with them. No, I saw this blue truck go away. Well, nobody down there had a car to but they're the ones that are letting us know that it was a vehicle that dumped this. So.
Yeah, I feel the same. I don't know. I didn't really deal with the police so much being unhoused. They criminalize us just because they don't like us. They didn't really faze me. I don't deal with them so much in the unhoused, being unhoused. I think they criminalize a lot of people though, and I think they treat them differently because they're unhoused, which they shouldn't, and they don't have any training, but I don't really deal with them like that.
So now my question to you guys is, what alternatives to policing for unhoused residents?
Us, more lived experience people that have that know what they're looking for, that know what they're looking at, that know what to do, other than criminalize them, other than take them to jail or bulldoze them. You know what I mean? Somebody with resources, somebody that's going to have patience, time, to listen to what they're going through. Somebody who cares what they're going through, who's been through what they're going through. Somebody who can show them that it does get better. Because sometimes that's all they need is somebody to just remind them that this too shall pass. You know what I mean? And it's rough. But basically, and someone who knows that they're not the ones who did that dumping, or that, you know what I mean? Somebody who's not gonna hold that against them, you know what I mean? That just knows what they're going through. That's the best thing, I think.
Yeah, alternatives, I mean, training. I mean, I kind of agree with Amanda saying, there's not enough of us in those trainings. And I'm not even saying that it has to be me and Amanda, but there's so many of us out there doing this. You know, SOS has some 30 people from the unhoused community. You know what I mean? That's just one nonprofit. You know, there's a lot of us through the Bay Area that have this lived experience with this knowledge, and to see that being just never seen by the cities, it really would do a difference to have community members of all kinds, from all walks of life. You know, we teach each other.
In all aspects of life. You know what I mean? Not just in unhoused issues, but all issues. There's people from all issues, you know, just like the ONS has, you know, they walk around North Richmond and, you know, they have the young guys that are shooting and stuff, they walk around with them. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Like, you need to have people that know what's going on for real. On the ground floor, not just somebody who's in an office all day or somebody who thinks they know. Because there's so much on the under that's going on, you know what I mean?
Definitely. And you guys both have been out in the field. You guys have, you know, seen these communities and seen the challenges and the struggles. We wanted to ask, what are a few ways for the community to support unhoused residents right now?
Don't be an NIMBY. Don't be an NIMBY. Don't support an NIMBY. Not in my backyard. We don't like that. We want to be yes in our backyard. Just support, you know, if you see homeless people in your neighborhood, like, don't just assume that they're drug addicts or they're criminals or they're, you know what I mean? Because we're not. I was a battered mother, you know what I mean, who with a child, you know what I'm saying? You'd be surprised how many of us there is, you know what I mean? Most people, 90% of the people that are homeless are not homeless because of drug use or because of something like that, you know, because they're criminals or whatever. It's a lot more than that. And just know that those people are going through something and support them, you know what I mean? Don't go to your city council and say, not in my backyard, because we got to go somewhere. It's just not fair. You know what I mean? They're just normal people. Treat them like normal people. And just know that some of us had rougher lives than other people. That's all it is. Patience. That's the biggest way we can, people, I think the community can support us, is patience. And of course, you know, donations, landlords, you know, I think, you know, the obvious, but yeah. That's really the best way.
I mean, open eyes and open mind. Of course, I should plug in the donate to SOS.
Yeah.
But
that's what I said.
and yes, because they said 90% of those funds go back into the community of the unhoused.
Right.
We are employing them. We are, you know, housing first. Well, you know, how are we going to keep that housing? You know, so we're one of the ones that are employing them. But really open mind, open eyes. You know, I've been working with different, you know, city council members, and to see their reaction from when we enter the encampment to when we leave the encampment, it's a whole different world, because they went in there with an open mind and open eyes and heard the stories and heard from the lived experience side to explain what happened to some of these people. So, you know, you'll learn a lot by, you know, there's a lot of like community things you can get on that will teach you these things, that they have speeches from lived experience, people from all around, and you can learn a lot from the culture of unhoused.
We do a lot with the community engagement. We're trying to do more now, but we try to engage with the community as much as possible. That's basically like, get to know somebody, ask them their story. That's all. Ask them their story, you'd be surprised. I guarantee when you ask them their story, you won't feel the same when you're done.
So as we come to an end for our podcast, I do want to pose a question of, how do you guys reimagine Richmond?
How would I want to imagine Richmond? Open, free. People can be who they want to be, and people are not bullying them or judging them or looking down upon them for where they are, their struggles. You know what I mean? Just a helping hand. Each one teach one. Pay it forward. That's my biggest thing. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Pay it forward. One good deed deserves another one. Period. The world would be a different place if we all just live like that. Pay it forward. Because you never know where you're going to be. You're only one paycheck away, probably. You never know what kind of tragedy is going to bring you down to our level. You know what I'm saying? And you never know. Like, some of us have educations and degrees and all kind of stuff. You just never know until you speak to them. Pay it forward.
I'm sorry, I don't remember what the question was.
How do you reimagine Richmond?
I'm going to keep it in the reality sense. I do a lot of research on other things. Our executive director, Daniel Barth, went to Texas and saw these tiny homes. I'm from Hawaii, where they have another a homeless camp that have created this, I don't know if it's a tiny home village, but a village that they built themselves from the unhoused community. No outside people. And I see that, throughout Richmond, we have enough abandoned buildings. We have enough land to create a sustainable life for some of these encampment folks. And so, I see that very easily. We could be, I don't want to say solving a problem, but helping the problem.
We could really,
we could prevent some of the problem, some of the issues, by creating these spaces with all the open land and abandoned warehouses that some the city own. And some, we have Chevron and we have all these big corporations out here, and I could really see that we could do a lot with what we have.
We could be a model for the country.
Thanks for tuning into Reimagine Richmond Podcast. A special thanks to all the community members who made this podcast possible. Reimagine Richmond is a movement pushing the city to invest in life-affirming resources and programs. To join the movement, visit our website at reimaginerichmond.org.